Welcome to Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. I am Jamie G, and I'm here with Magnum, and we're going to help you seize the gap and stop being so inefficient. We're kicking off week 11 of the 2025 NFL season on Thursday Night Football with two of my least favorite teams facing each other. The Jersey Jets traveling up to New England to face the Patriots. Yeah, it sucks. I hate them both. I know. I agree with you. Mills, I was brought up not to say nothing if I can't say anything nice, so this one's on you, Scooby-Doo.
Those Dunkin' Donut ads with Ben Affleck are kind of fun, so they've got that going for them, which is nice. And also, old school Scooby-Doo, dude. If you ever make that your happy place, just watch some old school Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo. That's a happy place for me. Hopefully, this will be a happy place for you here on this episode of Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Thank you for checking out our show. You can find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the web at seizethegapff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to hit that thumb. And please remember that we are not affiliated with DraftKings or the DraftKings Sportsbook. But when you hear us talk about any wagers or odds, we are getting those from the DraftKings Sportsbook, and everything is accurate as of November 12th, 2025.
Ring the bell because it's time for the tale of the tape. This isn't quite David versus Goliath, but it might be Rocky versus Thunderlips, at least according to the books.
Well, I mean, if you are a real American who has, skin like a hot dog, perhaps we can do something for you. As I mentioned, getting the odds and wagers from the DraftKings Sportsbook, we have the 2-7 New Jersey Jets traveling to New England to face the 8-2 Patriots. The Patriots are 12.5 point home favorites, minus 900 on the money line, while the Jets are 12.5 point road underdogs, plus 600 on the money line. Game total is 43.5 points. Nice weather here, at least for this time of year in the Northeast. Temps in the high 30s, winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, nothing too major. As far as injury issues, looks like Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver for the Jets, is doubtful, while edge rusher Will McDonald, the fourth, is questionable. Do not expect Wilson to play. Kind of think McDonald will keep a slight eye on that one. And then for the New England Patriots, running back Terrell Jennings is questionable with a knee injury, while running back Ramondre Stevenson is out with a toe injury, and Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver for the Patriots, is out with a hamstring. Jamie G, I know you don't really love these teams, but what do you think of the trend we've seen? You know, the Broncos managed to beat the Raiders last week, but it was a slog. It was ugly. It was close. They didn't cover. Before that, I believe four straight underdogs had won on Thursday Night Football in divisional matchups. Do the Jets have any chance here of winning this one, barring something very unforeseen, injury related, something of that nature happening?
The Jets defense hasn't been able to really stop anyone all year. They won their game last week. It was a miraculous thing. It was very cool thing with with honoring the center Nick Mangold and everything. But it's just one of those things, Mills, where it's like I just don't see them being able to stop anyone. And on the flip side of that, the Patriots, they're pretty decent at stopping the run. They've been able to generate a lot of offense for what they've got. I just, even if they play terrible, I still think it's enough to probably get 17 to 20 points, and that's probably more than the Jets are able to score. They're just that bad. I think they're probably the worst, second worst, maybe third worst team in the whole league.
If you spotted the Jets say a May interception, a TreVeyon Henderson fumble, in a big kickoff return, does that even get them a chance to win, or is that just more right? If they get kind of that, they're at least in a good spot to cover.
I think the best we can hope for here is like they cover, backdoor cover type of thing.
So you're saying they're not going to get return touchdowns and back-to-back plays for back-to-back weeks?
I just don't see it happening. I mean, you never know, but I just don't see it happening.
It does feel like there is a spot where I can see the Patriots being somewhat susceptible to a bit of a trap game here. They've had a couple of close calls. Drake Maye has bailed them out for the most part. Last week it was TreVeyon Henderson putting the game away. And the irony of that is if the coaching staff had their way, he probably wouldn't even have been out there. So it looks like they're going to have similar luck this week in that the injuries are going to force them to utilize TreVeyon Henderson, which I think is going to be, very fun for us, especially those of us who own us in fantasy. Are you worried at all we're going to have another dud like last week? We saw it on Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. We're getting deeper in the season. Do you think, we saw this last year as well. Do you think we're in a spot now where we have to start worrying or trying to hedge against these games where we're going to see these maybe, sub 40 or even sub 30 totals sometimes?
Short week. It's just the reality, man. It's just a hot mess. And I think it's, we saw a couple last year that ended up being like crazy scoring games, and that could happen potentially, but I don't see it in this matchup. I think this is one where it's just it's got more of a chance to kind of be a stinker, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, because you have the Patriots pushing an implied total of 28-ish points, so it's expecting there's going to be some points scored, but the majority of those being on the Patriots side, which makes sense. If you look back at the Jets schedule, throw out the Bengals game, and their offense has really done nothing. Even last week, remember, they got 14 of the points on return, so it just is tough to really figure them. I think the under over on their touchdowns is 1.5, and it's like minus 150 for the under or something like that. So scoring 2 touchdowns would probably be a little bit of a surprise from them. How about the Jets offense overall? I like Mason Taylor a little bit. One of the better ways to attack this Patriots defense has been with the tight end. You have Brees Hall. Outside of that, do you have interest in trying to figure out any of these other ancillary players? Or do you figure it doesn't even matter because they're all only going to get 1 or 2 targets anyways?
Yeah, I think they're all just going to get one or two targets anyways. I mean, it's just so hard to see the ball getting spread around there. It just really is. Justin Fields has been so bad. Tyrod Taylor is it's just even with him, I just still think it's really difficult.
There's a universe where I have a modicum of interest in A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie III because I like them as prospects, and the Jets have to trot somebody out there. But I don't think either have enough time. You're on the short week. I think almost all those guys are you're hoping they get like 3 targets and they catch a long random touchdown and a busted coverage or something like that. So I think it's kind of hard to really rely on much there. For the Patriots, now with Stevenson out, it feels like we can rely on Henderson. Stephon Diggs has been fairly consistent, but past that, it's been a little bit spotty for the Patriots. Is there anybody else on that offense outside of the big 2 guys up top that you're looking for to have a nice game this week?
Yeah, we saw the big game out of Mac Hollins last week, and that's kind of his thing. He'll pop everyone. I just don't know that he can do it consistently. But speaking of pop, I'm going to go back to the other guy that's had some games here and there. I'm going to go with Pop Douglas and think maybe he gets one or two deep ones.
I like that. He is probably their best run after the catch receiver. He is talented like that. Reminds you a little bit of your Khalil Shakir in that regard. I like that call. I think Diggs has a good one. I definitely like Kyle Williams to get another deep shot or two here. They've been talking him up a little bit. We saw him have the long touchdown last week. So I think there is a chance that he could get it going. What do you think the odds are of the Patriots defense holding the Jets offense under 10 points? 0 to 100%. I think I'll give them a solid, give them a third. I'll give them a solid 33% of keeping them under 10. What do you think the odds are of the Patriots keeping the Jets offense under 10 points?
I'd say it's about I'll probably go 38 to 42%, somewhere in that range. It's hard for them to score, man.
I appreciate you not going pure prices right on me and going to like 34% or going to 1%.
I noticeably increased. I gave a noticeable increase.
Any other kind of takeaways from this game here? Is there anything in particular that's standing out to you, be it, player, narrative, one side of the ball, one unit, anything like that that stands out to you?
I just see it being a game where, the Patriots are able to stop the run and force them into being one-dimensional. It works in the Pats' favor. And offensively, even if they start off a little sluggish, I'd still expect them to kind of move the football, put up points. I think there's a little bit legitimate chance that not only they win, they cover. I mean, I could see this being like 30 to like 13 or 30 to like 9 or one of those type of games.
Yeah, I mean, Steam's on, at least from when I checked it Sunday morning till now. I think it's moved from 10.5 to 13.5 at some shops. So it's definitely been moving towards the Patriots. We're about to hit the 14, so I think it probably cools at the 13.5 there. How about a hot take, man? You don't have to go full Stephen A. Smith, but give it one kind of bold prediction, hot take, something a little bit under the radar that's going to happen in the game on Thursday night.
The first quarter, it starts off and it's very close, maybe even the Jets in the lead on that first quarter.
What would be bolder to predict the Patriots shutting out the Jets or the Jets to score a touchdown in their opening drive?
The Jets to score a touchdown on their opening drive.
I mean, you do get to script it though. You know what I mean? The percentage of those plays that succeed is generally higher than most. So maybe they could get a big return or something like that. I'm just going to go with we're getting Tyrod time here. I think Tyrod Taylor, by the absolute latest, starts the second half. I think there's a decent chance he winds up in the first. I know Fields got him the win last week, but it was almost in spite of Fields, not because of him. I do not
Yeah.
think he has very long of a leash here. Honestly, I think they could almost platoon him. It wouldn't even shock me if Rabel literally hot hands it with quarterback on a drive to drive basis. At this point, why not, right? Nothing else has worked for the Jets offense. If they wanted to put Brees Hall at quarterback, I wouldn't blame them. Go full Wildcat, dude. Why not? What do they have to lose? We at least know he can throw it to Mason Taylor. We've seen that.
We've seen that. We've seen that in the red zone, no less.
For a big, yeah, big game clinching play that just absolutely kills me because it absolutely knocked me out of a Survivor League here. And this is going to be very popular game for Survivor contest this week. Most likely, the Patriots will be the most owned, most used team in Survivor contest by like a lot. Like they're going to be used by over 50% of entries. So, if you are bold enough to fade, perhaps it would pay off. But it sounds like we're leaning towards the Patriots probably taking care of business here. Jamie G, who do you think is going to hit pay dirt here? Kind of random touchdown scorer. We call him the Vulture Man, a guy who's going to steal one. I'm going really long. I mentioned him here. I thought about going with A.D. Mitchell, but he just joined the team. Still not in there. So I'm going to go with the other guy, John Mechie III, plus 1,700 on the anytime. And I'm thinking he gets garbage time touchdown from Tyrod Taylor. Right now, we don't have that option on the menu, but I'm definitely going to throw in like a little $5 parlay on Tyrod Taylor with one plus TD passes and Mechie on the anytime because that'll be like plus 3,000 or something really fun. Jamie G, who do you have as a Vulture Man for us? Who's stealing a TD this week?
Well, it's a name that there was a lot of talk about over the years when he was in Green Bay, and then again when he went to the Jets. I'm going with the Lizard Man, Alan Lazard, plus 1,700 for him to get in the end zone. I don't know why. It just feels like if there's ever going to be a game where it happens, this is it. And why not? Tyrod Taylor gets in there. It's in the red zone. He's got a little bit of size to him, and he gets it.
I can be down with that. How many more jerseys would he have sold over the course of career if he just changed his last name to Lizard? How many people would just randomly cop a Lizard jersey?
A lot, dude. And he's always worn green. Think about that. He
I
missed a
mean, yeah,
real
remember Ocho
opportunity.
Cinco changing his name to, his name officially to Ocho Cinco for the back of the jersey? Like, come on now.
Yep.
You can always change it back when you're done playing. I just feel like it's a really missed marketing opportunity.
Yeah, he's always worn green. Alan Lizard, dude. It would be Lizard's way better, and it's fun. It's better to say. It sounds better. It looks better. Yeah, it's a real
He'd
missed
definitely be in a
opportunity there.
Geico commercial at some point with the stupid gecko arguing over what's a lizard or whatever.
Yeah,
The marketing opportunities write themselves, basically.
and here we are giving free marketing opportunities out there because that's what we do. We provide value all across the board. Let's talk a little fantasy football for Thursday night football, starting with the usual suspects. Mills, go ahead, line them up, and tell us who the players are that we need to lock into our fantasy lineups from this game. No hesitation, no surrender, no worthy player left on thy bench.
That is very Thunder Gunnish of you in a much shorter list than usual. For the New York Jets, we only have Brees Hall. Garrett Wilson is doubtful. Do not expect him out there. Even if he was, he would almost be a shaky start, given the nature of that offense. But Brees Hall has at least got some stuff done with Fields out there. So you can feel pretty comfortable locking him in despite the tough matchup. Then for the Patriots, we have a couple more options, including quarterback Drake Maye, running back TreVeyon Henderson, wide receiver Stephon Diggs, and you can absolutely start the New England Patriots defense special teams unit this week. No hesitation, no surrender. Also, a couple of streaming options for you. I am not wild about Justin Fields' prospects here, but given how this week is shaping up with the buys and the injuries, you could probably start him in a two quarterback super flex league if you need to. Hope for some garbage time production. Also, don't mind Mason Taylor, the Jets tight end, is a streamer here. It's going to be a little bit touchdown or bust, but I think he is probably going to get the most targets on the team. Could be by a fair amount. The best way to attack the defense, at least from a fantasy standpoint, has been attacking the Patriots with the tight end. So don't mind Mason Taylor as a streamer. And then on the Patriots side, Jamie G mentioned him. We have Pop Douglas here, Demario Douglas, a very nice streamer as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, flex, second flex, something like that. And probably not a bad week to go to the man with the H's, Hunter Henry, 2 H's, 2 of them. Will he get one touchdown? Maybe. It's possible. But he is a guy, when he scores touchdowns, the man likes to do it in two. So perhaps we get a two-time from Mr. Hunter Henry. And then we have a couple of start sits. We're assuming we're going to be working with a 12-team PPR league here, unless otherwise mentioned. Jamie G and I each had to pick one player from these duos. We'll start with the players we agreed on. We had a couple of Justin Fields matchups up top. First, we had Justin Fields again at New England on Thursday Night Football, or Michael Penix Jr. of the Atlanta Falcons facing the Carolina Panthers. Jamie G and I both went with Michael Penix Jr. I know we're not big Falcons fans, Jamie G, but he has certainly just shown more than Fields, right? All Fields has is his legs at this point. He had like 45 yards passing, like 56 yards passing last week, and it was like only his fourth lowest total on the season. So I know we don't,
Yeah,
this isn't an endorsement of Penix, right? This is just more of a like, you can do better than Justin Fields in a one quarterback league.
100%. And you just at this point you really can't start Fields. Like I mean, there's just like yeah, Michael Penix Jr. for all the reasons you just stated.
Yeah, at least he's got Drake London to throw to. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, Mason Taylor is and Brees Hall are the best options. His best wide receiver is probably going to be Tyler Johnson, who I don't hate, but things are not looking pretty. So it's not really a surprise when faced with the next matchup here. Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars are at home versus the Chargers. Really struggling for weapons out there. Might get Brenton Strange back, but it's probably Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers. But it doesn't matter. We're both going with T Law. JBG, I know it's bleak, but I do like how much Lawrence has been using his legs this year. It's almost actually up there with what Fields has been doing for the most part. So, and given that, I think it's a pretty easy call to go with Lawrence.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly why. I mean, yeah, the cupboard's a little bit bare, but better offense, better offensive system, and better weapons, and the legs is almost equal. So
And then we have the head-to-head of the running backs in this game. You're going to want to start both of these guys, but out of curiosity, which one do we think scores more, Brees Hall or TreVeyon Henderson? Both going with Henderson. And we made this call before we knew for sure Stevenson would be out, like Brees Hall here. But unless Henderson gets benched or injured, it's really hard to see this happening unless I don't know. I guess maybe if the Jets win the game, Hall would outdo him. But other than that, it just really feels like Henderson's about to really get the breakthrough here, right?
when you look at the two teams, the Jets have not been able to stop the run consistently all season. New England is built on being able to stop the run. They've done it several times throughout the year. They've been pretty consistent with it. So, to me, you look at those two things, and then you say, okay, well, we saw what TreVeyon Henderson did last year, and last week, and it's kind of it's no brainer here, really.
Yeah, I think it is. And again, I like both of these players, but man, especially if you've been holding on to him and waiting this for TreVeyon Henderson, should be a whole Mace thing for you. It should feel so good. Then we had kind of a fun little dumpster divey wide receiver matchup between Mac Hollins of the Patriots playing Thursday Night Football against the Jets, or Cooper Kupp revenge game traveling back to face the Rams. Jamie G, as much as I think they're probably going to try to get Cooper Kupp a touchdown, I'm gonna go with Matt Collins here, just because he's kind of what the Jets have, right? He's that guy. Like he can catch one random deep pass, one random touchdown. That's who he is. Meanwhile, you still have Shaheed. The Seahawks want to run the ball. Maybe Torrey Horton's back. They got a couple tight ends. Maybe they try to get Cup his touchdown. But I feel like I'm just gonna trust in Matt Collins. Is this your Bills bias showing through, or are we just convinced that Cooper Cup is dust?
Yeah, I just think that that Matt Collins is going to get, some targets. I'm not fully trusting Cooper Kupp, whether it's his health or just his age or just a combination of things. And I don't think the team is either, hence why they traded for Rashid Shaheen. To me, yeah, I love and also the matchup too. The Rams are going to be a tougher matchup than the Jets. So all those things, why I'm going Matt Collins.
Well, and then, it gives an excuse to play Return of the Mac, and never any problem with that. Although we do have shoes on, so he probably wouldn't be a huge fan of that. And then if you're going with a little bit of a dumpster divey wide receiver matchup within the game on Thursday Night Football, you have Kyle Williams, rookie wide receiver for the Patriots, or Tyler Johnson, formerly of the Bucks and Rams, I believe. And Tyler Johnson is probably going to be the wide receiver one for the Jets. And Jamie G and I are still going with Kyle Williams. Jamie G, as nuts as this is, I did this being pretty confident Kyle Williams is only going to get like 3 targets, and I still took him over Tyler Johnson. Are you feeling the same thing, or do you think maybe Tyler Johnson actually won't get as many snaps as we're thinking he's going to get?
I think that's exactly right. I don't think he's going to get as many snaps, and the other thing too is, um, you mentioned it. They're talking up Kyle Williams a little bit. We saw last week with the big play down the field. They drafted him. Like I mean, these are all reasons why I think that this is a real good play over. And I just think more points are going to be scored on the New England side than the Jet side too.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going with Tyler Johnson, you're backing on garbage time, basically. like some real hardcore garbage time. And honestly, Vrabel's one of those coaches too. I don't know if he's just going to ease up that much until the very, very, very end. He might put the backups in, but my guess is they would still be playing pretty aggressively. And then we got to do a little tight end time here. You got TJ Hawkinson of the Vikings facing off against the Bears. And JBG, we're both going with Hunter Henry on this one. Again, I like his touchdown upside here, but to me, this just says more about the Viking offense and Hawkinson himself, right? He has been, very quietly one of the more disappointing players this season, I think.
Yeah, he has, and it's a lot to do with the quarterback situation and what's been going on there, but he hasn't had the type of season we've seen in the past and nearly the production either.
Unscripted question, more disappointing tight end, TJ Hawkinson or Evan Ingram of the Broncos?
Man, I'm gonna go Evan Ingram.
It is too because of the expectations that he has theoretically, the quarterback and the coach and all that good stuff, right? Although,
Yep.
Hawkinson's got a good coach too, but yeah, he should have done better. He should be better. And then we had a couple that we disagreed on, starting with a fun quarterback head-to-head matchup. Obviously should be starting both of these guys, but I actually have a couple teams with both of them, so I threw it in there just for fun. Would you rather start Lamar Jackson at Cleveland or Drake Maye versus the Jets? I went with Drake Maye, feeling confident we're going to get at least 260 total yards, two total touchdowns, something like that. So I went with Drake Maye. Jamie G, you went with Lamar Jackson. Any concerns about that Browns defense or being a Derrick Henry day, or you feel pretty good about Jackson, 250 plus combined yards, three touchdowns, something like that? Is that what you're thinking?
It is, and I think that the Jets game has the potential to kind of start out a little bit slow and Thursday night. And just because of that, I decided to lean with Jackson. They're pretty hot right now. That offense is starting to roll. We haven't seen him take off with his legs yet since he come back from the hamstring. I think this could be the week he does. Historically, he's been very good against Cleveland. For all those reasons, the fact that it's the Thursday night game of it all, it just had me going Lamar here.
Change your calculus at all if you lose a half a point per sack for every time the quarterback sacked.
Maybe, but I mean, maybe, but
Yeah, I
I don't
feel
know if it's
like
enough.
Jackson might get sacked more, but not enough to make more than a point of difference, probably something like that. Just
Yeah,
think about Miles Garrett having, one of those monster four sack days or something crazy like that. So I don't think May's going down that many times, but who knows? The Patriots line actually has not been as good as hoped. Actually, Drake May has really been kind of outplaying his protection to a certain degree. And then we had a wide receiver matchup we disagreed on: Demario Douglas versus the Jets, or Tyler Lockett versus Dallas. Jamie G went with Pop Douglas. I went with Tyler Lockett. I just think that Geno Smith and Pete Carroll are going to make Lockett happen, and they get the matchup against the Cowboys. So that was it for me. Just much higher scoring game environment, and I think he draws at least as many targets. So that was my calculus. Why'd you go with Pop?
I just think he's in line for kind of that breakout game. You're starting to see it with Josh McDaniels in this Patriots offense. Every week, it's going to be one of the role players that gets the work, and I think this week it's going to be Demario Douglas. I just put that over. I just until I see it with Lockett, man, it feels like I'm just betting on him having that one game. It's just I don't know. I just to me, it felt like Douglas was a little bit of a safer bet.
Yeah, I just again, Cowboys defense, my axiom all season has been start everyone against the Cowboys defense. So it was almost that simple for me, as weird as that is. And then we had a matchup once again between Hunter Henry and Mark Andrews, also of the Ravens, traveling to Cleveland. Probably not a surprise since you went with Lamar Jackson. It makes sense that you also went with Andrews. I went with Hunter Henry here. I honestly just feel they're both kind of the same player, touchdown or bust, and I think there's a chance Henry gets a couple more targets than Mark Andrews, but this was a really close one for me. So you just expecting the Ravens to maybe score a couple more points, or Andrews to be a little bit more targeted, something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. I just think that it's he's starting to emerge as kind of Lamar's go-to now. We saw him have a couple of big games here. Two out of the last three I think have been pretty good. So yeah, just kind of going with that. More consistency.
That means it's probably time to play Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
That means that's
If,
likely the
or,
time to do that.
Kohler Bear's gonna get in there for the tutty, dude. You know he will.
What's wild is he's also a free agent. All three of their tight ends are free agents next year. Kind of wild. And finally, one last one: Mason Taylor, rookie tight end for the Jets against the Patriots, or Pat Fryermuth, the Muth, going against the Bengals. Jamie G in this case went with the rookie. I went with Fryermuth. Start everybody against Cincinnati, man. That's pretty much where I'm at with this one, especially the tight end. So it was not more complex than that. Why'd you go with the Rook?
It's just so hard to pick. At least I know he's the only tight end that's getting the work. on the Jets, right? There might be limited work. There is limited work, but it's like, trying to pick between the three-headed monster of tight ends they got in Pittsburgh. I just decided, you know what? Mason Taylor's easier. It's just easy.
You're not necessarily wrong with that take on it. I just think if one of them is going to score like a really long touchdown or something, it's probably Muth.
You, yep, not disagreeing. Coin flip, really. I think that's kind of the point with some of these harder decisions. It's
Yeah, these are all
tough.
players that are generally ranked within a couple spots of each other at the Fantasy Pros consensus rankings, or it's a lineup decision from one of our teams. So that's how we choose these. Hopefully, we've done the Indiana Jones thing and chosen wisely.
Open up the DraftKings app because we are down with the king. It's time to talk about our favorite showdown plays for the Thursday Night Football showdown slate over on DraftKings. As usual, we're starting with the most crucial call. Who to play in your captain spot? My captain, oh captain.
And your captain and everybody's captain, if you're playing in a cash game, double up, head to head, 50-50, even a single entry tournament, pay the sticker price because you want Drake Maye in there. $18,000 for the New England quarterback in your captain spot. It doesn't matter. There's nobody close to his floor ceiling combo here. He is $2,100 more than the next expensive player, who is TreVeyon Henderson. Doesn't matter. He has been awesome this year. If you were playing in any kind of lower variance format, absolutely eat the chalk. Play Drake Maye captain. Do not overthink it. If you're playing in a large field tournament, you can certainly play Drake Maye, but he is very prohibitively expensive and will be highly owned. So it's a good move to try to get off him a little bit here. So I have two options for you if you're playing in a large field tournament. One is to go with the running back. Now that we know Ramondre Stevenson is out, I'm comfortable paying $15,900 for TreVeyon Henderson in the captain spot. You're going to need a performance somewhat similar to what you saw last week, 100 plus yards, two touchdowns, but I think he can get there. And if he does, it'll limit the upside for Drake Maye somewhat, giving you some leverage by playing him at the captain spot. And then the second option, if you want to feel a little bit frisky, you think the Patriots are going to take him out fairly easily, control the game. You can play the Patriots DST captain. Crazy expensive for DST here. $9,900 for the Patriots DST in your captain spot, but I think it could be worth it. And if you put them there, it lets you get to at least one of Henderson or Breece Hall, and then you can put Diggs and the Drake Maye stack in there. So it allows you to get to a lot of things without having to go to a full-on dumpster dive. And if the Patriots are doing like that, they can spread the ball around if they're winning real big, kind of limiting any one player from having a big day. So I think that would lead to a scenario where the Patriots DST would actually be the way to go. JBG, it's going to be tough to get to a Jets player here. Do you have any interest in Breece Hall, a captain, and is a very contrarian play at 15,300?
Not really. If the Jets are going to have any sort of chance here, it's going to come on the Breece Hall day. And look, man, maybe he's motivated. He didn't get, they traded everyone. He's stuck. Maybe he wants to show out here. Who knows, man? If that's going to be the case, you're gonna stand alone. Not a lot of people are going to do that. And if there's any chance for the Jets, it's going to come from him. So there's a risk, but he's basically the whole offense at this point.
I think I agree with you. He's 1,200 bucks more than Justin Fields and also projecting for roughly double the ownership in the captain spot. Are you okay with that? Is there any way you could talk yourself into Fields at 14-1 in some kind of, I mean, he's like incredibly cheap to stack. He's about the cheapest quarterback to stack I've seen in a minute who's actually, quote unquote, the starting quarterback, but he has just done so little. It's just hard for me to have any interest because it's so hard for me to imagine it happening.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe with Garrett Wilson in there, and that would make him more expensive to stack. But with the lack of options, you're just basically hoping he has a crazy rushing day and throws all of his passes to Breece Hall and Mason Taylor. And I suppose that could be a viable build in a big tournament, but it's just not one that I'm really inclined to go towards. Any interest in Diggs at all, a captain here? He's been more of a high floor option than a real ceiling option this season, 14,700, but projecting for fairly low ownership at captain. Any interest in him here, or if you're getting a Diggs, would you rather just be in your flex spot?
It's tough for me to take Diggs here. I think, and the captain, I think I gotta put him in the flex just because the best I think you're gonna get out of him, just because they're gonna spread it around a little bit and they're gonna utilize the running game. The best you're gonna get, I think, is maybe like the best is like 100 yards and a touchdown. And I don't know that he gets that. I think you're probably more likely to get somewhere between like 40 and 60 yards and maybe a touchdown. So I just, to me, that's kind of, I don't know that the ceiling pays off enough with enough consistency for me to do it. I think I just throw him in the flex.
I think that's really good analysis. If you look back at what he's done the past three games, he's found the end zone in all three, but basically been between like 12 and 15 points because it's just there's no volume there. So he really needs a big play to do anything. So like you said, probably 100 yards and a touchdown, and he's gonna have to do that very efficiently with it, at least probably one really big play to get there. So again, not a bad guy to throw in your flex spot, especially if you're stacking him up with Drake Maye. But I would be really hesitant to put him in your captain spot. I think that especially at that price.
Once we get past the captain position, anybody else sticking out to you for the flex?
Well, you got a lot of cheap value on the Jet side of the ball. I don't know how much of it I love. If you're willing to go down in the dumpster, I mentioned him as my Vulture Man touchdown scorer, John Mechie III, Jets wide receiver, only $1,000. Slightly more expensive than him. You have Isaiah Williams, wide receiver for the Jets, only 1,200. I think I would rather stack Mechie up if I'm actually playing Justin Fields. But if I was just going to throw one naked in there, it would be Williams. We saw him get a return touchdown last week, too. So if you're going to play some kind of weird defensive struggle build and you're going to play the Jets defense, you can do worse than stacking him. A player I like much more than both of those guys, not much more expensive, is Kyle Williams, rookie wide receiver for the Jets. Love stacking him with Drake Maye in tournaments. I think he maxes out at three or four targets probably, but they're almost all going to be deep shots. Might get a look in the end zone. No Kayshon Boutte, so really love Kyle Williams. Probably my favorite dollar for dollar value play when you're digging down this deep. Mentioned before, Tyler Johnson expected to lead the Jets wide receivers in snaps, $3,400. If I have to play one of the Jets wide receivers, he's my favorite one. That might be damning with faint praise, but I don't have much else to offer here. And then my favorite Jets play, dollar for dollar out of all of them, is Mason Taylor, the tight end, only $4,000 in your flex. Love him, probably going to be in a majority of my lineups. And then if you got a fun name fetish here, or you just think the man should be a golfer, Andy Borregales, the New England kicker here, 5K flat. The Jets have literally been just about the best offenses for opposing fantasy kickers, and he has two games with 13 DK points. I'm not going to seek him out, but if I'm going for a low scoring tournament build and I wind up with about 5K left, I think there's worse ways you could spend it. And then we have three New England players who are kind of stacked up right in the same range. We have Hunter Henry at 5,400, Matt Collins at 5,800. Demario Douglas, 6,200. Jamie G, which one of these higher costing value plays for the Patriots you prefer? Henry, Hollis, or Douglas?
Honestly, probably Henry. It just, again, to your point, it feels like he's got the most potential for kind of the red zone and the touchdown upside. So I think I'd probably go there.
I think you're probably right. If one of them is going to be a two touchdown scorer, it's probably Henry, although Hollins and Douglas have a little bit more big play potential. If you were
Yeah.
going to double stack me with him, let's say Hunter Henry is one, which of the wide receivers would you want to double stack with him, Douglas or Hollins? Again, 400 more for Douglas.
I think I'd probably pay up for Douglas. Everyone's going to tell you, do Hollins. He had the big game last week. That makes me believe he's not going to have another big game again this week. It's just he doesn't stack them like that, man. He just never has in his whole career. So I think another game or two down the road, he'll have another big game. But I just don't see it being this one. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Douglas, just to be extra sharp with it. I think.
I think I'm with you there, and I think there is some overlap, especially when you get closer to the end zone and the type of targets, the type of routes that Henry and Hollins will run. Whereas Douglas is kind of a unique to them, and some of the after the catch stuff they'll do with him, and he'll work some of the underneath stuff a little bit better. So I like going with him. And then if you're spending up, if you're not playing him at the captain spot, you want to make sure you're getting Drake Maye in there, Patriots quarterback, still 12,000 in your flex. Mighty expensive. You are paying a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson like price tag for him, but he has been giving you great production. So you want to have him pretty much in just about every lineup unless you're trying to be very, very contrarian in a large field tournament. And TreVeyon Henderson is also going to be in the majority of my lineups now with no Stevenson, 10,600, so expensive, but not prohibitively so. And then you have Stephon Diggs. He's 9,800 in your flex. He's had at least 10 DK points in six of his last seven games, scored a TD in three straight. So I think he's an excellent stacking option with May, especially in cash games. I will probably be more inclined to dig down to the range we were just talking about with Henry Douglas and Hollins more when I'm in tournaments. But in a cash game scenario, I don't mind going for the safety and floor of what we've seen from Diggs. And then we have the Patriots DST, who I love at $6,600. I think they could easily get you double digit points. Even that's without a touchdown, man. So I'm very, very big fan of the Patriots DST. And Jamie G, do you think I'm crazy, man? The Patriots DST 6,600 in your flex, are they as good of a play as I'm thinking, or is there still a chance they only get 6, 7 points and they're just an okay play?
Yeah, there's always a chance, but I think the much higher chances than them being a great play. And honestly, if you wanted to get real crazy, Mills, I might even consider him in a captain in like small like cash games just to try to get a little bit of an edge. I might consider it.
I think they could be viable captain in just about any format, depending on how you want to do it. I don't think there's so much here that you can't afford Drake Maye in a cash game, but just about any size tournament, I think playing them a captain would be viable. And then we talked about the Jets before. If you had to play one of them in the flex, is it still Brees Hall at 10,200 over Fields 9,400?
Yeah, it is. I just can't. I just can't. I don't even know that Fields going to play the whole game, so I just can't. It's got to be Brees Hall.
Well, you have to play at least one Jet in a cash game scenario. Would you rather pay up for Brees Hall at 10,200 or just drop all the way down to Mason Taylor at 4K flat and just have him be your Jets play?
Just because of the way the money is, the budget is on this one, I'll probably pay up for Brees Hall. But there's a universe where you could just say, you know what, it's Mason Taylor or nothing. If I get a nothing burger on that one pick, so be it. Yeah, also the Jets kicker, like that's another like potential
Oh, get
too.
Nick Folk in there? I mean, he's
Yeah.
been decent enough this year. You're right. I mean, but kickers are kind of who they are. I just thought the Patriots had a little bit of safety, but you're right. Nick Folk has been one of the higher scoring kickers, so and he probably won't be high owned. No one likes paying that cost for a kicker, so good call there. Always keep that in mind. And before we get out of here, we got to pack the stack in the back of the act. I give you a little mini stack to get your lineup building started on Thursday Night Football. In the captain spot, we're going ahead and deploying the captain Drake Maye, 18,000, very expensive in your captain spot, but totally worth it. Then we're going to go ahead, throw that Patriots DST in there at 6,600, follow that up with Mason Taylor at 4K flat, and then throw the rook in there, TreVeyon Henderson, 10,600. Hopefully between that, we are getting access to almost all of the Patriots touchdowns, at least 5,400 per player. So if you want to dumpster dive pretty heavily, you can get another very expensive player in there, or you can get a couple other value plays in there, or change somebody out. So I think it's a very solid stack to get you started, and it also fits comfortably in the back of your rack.
I'm gonna make my Monday. I'm gonna make
And if you don't like money, you are in the wrong place because it is time for bet it, bank it, blow it. Mills, go ahead, get us ready to place some Thursday night football wagers.
Once again, please remember that we are not affiliated with the DraftKings Sports Book, but we are getting our odds and wagers from there, and everything is accurate as of November 12th, 2025. And here on Bet It, Bank It, Blow It, our preferred currency is the Cricket coin. In cricket, we trust, so all of our wagers will be in the form of Cricket coins. We like to open things up with our golden grab bag. These are our favorite miscellaneous wagers. They're not our favorite wagers, and they don't particularly fit neatly into any of our other segment systems, what have you. So we like to just get them out of the way, throw them in the grab bag, a little bit of free gold for y'all. Last week on Thursday Night Football, Jamie G went 1 for 2, booked a slight loss of about 26 cricket coins, got home on J.K. Dobbins 70 plus rushing yards, but missed on Brock Bowers over 66.5 receiving yards. I lost 100 cricket coins, missed my only wager. Bo Nix 230 rushing plus pass yards. Did not get there. It was an ugly game. The Broncos won, but we did not. As a duo last week on Thursday Night Football, in the grab bag, finished down about 126 coins. For Thursday Night Football across the season, Jamie G is down about 27 coins in the grab bag. I am down about 187, putting us down about 209 overall. Across all slates in the grab bag, Jamie G is up about 160 coins. I'm down about 47, putting us up about 113 coins as a duo. Jamie G, what do you have to offer for the golden grab bag on Thursday Night Football for week 11?
Yeah, just one here, Mills. Just one on this man. I'm gonna put 100 coins on the New England first half money line -6.5. It's -142, so I bought it down just a little bit. I think the first quarter this thing gets a little bit close. Maybe kind of ugly 0-0, 3-0 type of game, and then New England ends up getting in the end zone once or twice in that second quarter and allows this cover to happen. So gonna put 100 coins on that to win 170 back.
All right, Jamie G back in the Pats to be up in the first half by at least a TD. I'm going to do something slightly similar, but I'm going to go with an alternate total for the game. I'm going to put 100 cricket coins on the game total under 42 and a half. That is -106, so 100 coins to bring back 194. Thought about being a little bit more aggressive, but there's a time and a place for that. And the time and the place for that is the 3 degrees of degeneracy, where I start out pretty good and respectable and end up living under a bridge with dogs by the end. I'm going to give you 3 wagers here. They're going to get more degenerate as we go. Last week in the degeneracy on Thursday Night Football, I went 0 for 3, losing 175 cricket coins. Brock Bowers did me dirty, did not get him on the 70 plus receiving yards or the anytime touchdown. Also had Troy Franklin to have a day, 80 plus receiving yards, and despite the fact that he had the best day for the Broncos offense, he did not get there. For the season overall in the degeneracy on Thursday night, I'm down 499 coins plus a little change. And then overall for the season in the degeneracy, I'm very degenerate, down about 1,160 coins. Need to get back on track a little bit this week, so we like to start out with the flounder. This is when you're just dipping your toe into degeneracy. It's just Degen 101, like sweet little old flounder at the beginning of Animal House. He has no idea what's going on here. He's just happy to be here. I'm going to put 100 coins on Drake Maye to have 2+ passing touchdowns. This is -173, so 100 coins only brings back about 158, but he has done at least this 2+ passing touchdowns in the last 5 games, 8 of 10 games on the season, 9 of the last 10. It's been very, very good for Drake Maye. Very, very confident he can do this. And that's how the road to degeneracy begins because it seems so easy. You can just take another step. And the second step is what we call the Barney. In honor of our favorite degenerate from Moe's Tavern, Barney Gumble, he's got 50 coins. He's rubbing them together, trying to either find a genie or make a couple of bucks. Going to put those 50 coins on Kyle Williams, Patriots rookie wide receiver to have 40 plus receiving yards. This is plus 246, so 50 coins to bring back 173. And then finally, like I mentioned, at the end of this all, you're living under a bridge with dogs just like Rickety Cricket. This is the cricket in honor of our favorite degenerate. He's got 25 coins. He worked hard for these coins. You don't want to know what he did to get these coins. But he's taking the 25 coins and he's putting them on the rook as well. Kyle Williams, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 370. So 25 coins to bring back about 118. If it sounds degenerate, that's because it is. Is there a method to the madness? You're going to have to check back every week and find out. Degenerates are people too. They like to party and have a good time, but here on Bet It Bank and Blow It, we like to partay, specifically at the parlay partay. It's a very, very fun partay, but the cost of admission is a parlay. Last week on Thursday Night Football, we only had one offering for the partay. It was from Jamie G. He just had a little 3-legger here, managed to hit one of the 3 legs, so he lost 100 cricket coins. Did hit on the under 47.5, that was the alt, but missed on Bo Nix 210 plus passing yards and Brock Bowers 70 plus receiving yards. So overall for the season at the Parlay Partay on Thursday Night Football, Jamie G is up 250 coins. I'm down 200. Our collaborative parlays are down 200, putting us down 150 coins as a unit. Overall, across all slates at the Parlay Partay, Jamie G is up 103 coins. I am up 220 coins. Our collaborative parlays are down 400 coins, putting us down 77 coins overall. Jamie G, you've been very kind to the Partay. What do you have to offer this week?
Mills, I got a 3-legger for this Thursday night. Leg one, I've got Drake Maye hitting the 250 plus passing yards. He's averaging slightly more than that. Let's hope he can get it done against a horrible Jets defense. That's plus 117. Leg two, I've got Brees Hall hitting 70 plus rushing and receiving yards. It's really their only offense at this point that we can count on. Let's hope he gets the work to get a 70 plus rushing and receiving. That's minus 164 on its own. And then lastly, I've got New England covering, but not just covering, covering big. bigly, you'd even say. I've got minus 14 and a half on the alternate spread here. I got them winning by over two tutties, Mills. That's plus 110. 100 cricket coins at plus 600 total to win back 700.
Okay, I like what you're putting down, and I also have an offering for the partay. This was inspired by the degeneracy. I like some of this so much, I wanted to take it to its logical extension. So this is a three-leg single game parlay for Thursday Night Football, plus 1100 odds. Leg number one, Drake Maye, two plus passing touchdowns. It is going to happen. Minus 173. Go ahead and book it like the old school Pizza Hut joint. Leg number two, Kyle Williams, anytime touchdown pass. Drake Maye's throwing two of them. One of them's going to the Rook. That is plus 450. And then I think it's going to be a little bit of a long one. So again, Kyle Williams, 40 plus receiving yards, plus 246. So you put those three together. Drake Maye, two plus passing touchdowns. Kyle Williams, anytime touchdown. Kyle Williams, 40 plus receiving yards. Your odds are plus 1100. So 100 coins to bring back 1200. JBG, this could get done in two passes. He catches a 40-yard touchdown pass. Drake Maye throws one other pass for a touchdown. Boom, you're there. All it takes is two passes. How can it be any easier?
It sounds so easy. I can almost see it happening, Mills.
Well, that's the idea. That's the idea of a good partay. You can see it in your mind's eye before you get to the partay.
Be the three-eyed raven. When it comes to wagering, you do need to be selective with your biggest wagers, right? So we're off looking for a couple of golden eggs. Lucky for you, we're going to see the goose, the wonderful golden goose. These eggs, they're pure gold. It's our best wagers for Thursday night football. How did we do last week, Mills? Did we make some money on those golden eggs?
Unfortunately, you can play the bad prices right sound. We each missed our goose. I had Michael Mayer, Raiders tight end, four plus receptions, had three receptions in the first 20 minutes of the game and just could not find his way to that fourth reception. So I lost 250 coins. You had Cortland Sutton for the Honeys, 50 plus receiving yards. That Broncos passing game literally never got off the ground. So you lost that one as well, putting us down 500 cricket coins for the goose last week. Overall, across the season for Thursday Night Football on the Golden Goose, I have not recovered from my slow start yet, down about 1,039 coins, while Jamie G is slightly up here, about 103 coins, putting us down about 935 for Thursday Night Football as a duo. But across all slates, doing much better. I am up about 572 in the Goose. Jamie G is up about 1,290, putting us up about 862 overall. So Thursday Night Football has not been the kindest to us, but I got a feeling we're going to turn it around this week. Jamie G, take us to the Golden Goose and show us the egg.
I'm going to bet on Drake Maye here, Mills. I'm going to take Drake Maye at 230 plus passing yards. Again, a good 29 yards under his average on the season so far. So I'm going to bet below that. I really like the value here. 250 coins on Drake Maye, 230 plus passing yards. It's minus 142. 250 coins to win back 426. Just stacking wins, Mills. Name of the game, stacking wins.
I like what you're doing there. I was playing with a couple of different things here. I was originally going to try to go with an under on the Jets total team points, but instead I tried to just decided, you know what? I'm just going to do a best of both worlds thing here. I'm going to do a two-leg single game parlay. It's a shorty though. It's only minus 125 with two legs. Leg number one, going to take the alt spread of New England, just going to get it down to 9.5, so under the key number of 10. That is minus 175. And then I'm just going to take the Jets under 17.5 points. All they really need to get is 17 or less. That is minus 230. So you parlay those together. New England minus 9.5, Jets under 17.5, minus 125. So 250 coins to bring back 450. Thought about being a little bit more aggressive, going with the Jets under 13.5 total points. That was plus 110, but just a little bit better of a number there. But it's so easy for them to get there in garbage time. I like going with the extra leg here. It is, again, a little bit shorter, but it gives me some insulation that I like here. And we want those eggs to be comfortably golden and last for a long time.
And we want you to stay with us for a long time. We appreciate you guys checking out another episode of Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. We hope we helped you out with all things fantasy, DraftKings, Down with the King, and a little sports wagering to wet your whistle on Thursday night, building that bankroll for the weekend. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so, like and subscribe. Hit the notification so this thing shows up. We're going to do these each and every week for you, but we're also going to be doing the main slates on Sunday and the primetime games. You're not going to want to miss those. Appreciate you guys. Let us know if you're tailing any of our picks or if you got something juicy we didn't say. We'd love to hear it. Mills will let you know where you can find all of our stuff.
Thanks again for checking out Seize the Gap Fantasy Football. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Seize the Gap FF and on the web at seizethegapff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like those flaps, FLAPS, very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please remember to touch the thumb. I am Magnum Mills here with Jamie G, reminding you to seize the gap so you can stop being so inefficient.
And we don't care if you're old. You need to seize the gap.
Yes, that is Hulk Hogan's signature look. Blonde Chinese hair and the skin of a hot dog. It's awesome.
I knew this shit wasn't fake.